Welcome to Quiz for Everyone. Do you think you can answer 30 questions correctly in an animal habitat quiz? Each correct answer is worth 1 point. Keep track of your score so you can see where you rank at the end. Share this with your friends and challenge them to beat you. Let's begin. Where does the polar bear primarily live in the wild? Arctic, the frozen region where polar bears thrive among ice and snow year-round. Which habitat is home to the Bengal tiger in nature? Rainforest, providing dense cover and rich hunting grounds for this powerful predator. Where would you most likely find a camel living naturally? Desert, the harsh environment its body is perfectly adapted to survive in. Which habitat is the natural home of a clownfish? Coral reef, the colorful underwater ecosystem where clownfish live among anemones. Where does the emperor penguin spend most of its life? Antarctica, the icy continent where these remarkable birds endure extreme conditions. Which habitat is preferred by the red-eyed tree frog? Rainforest, offering the humidity and vegetation it needs to stay hidden. Where would you naturally find a fennec fox in the wild? Desert, the sandy habitat where its large ears help regulate heat. Which habitat is home to the giant panda? Bamboo forest, the unique environment filled with its favorite food source. Where does the Atlantic puffin typically build its nests? Cliffs, providing safe nesting spots above the crashing ocean waves below. Which habitat is most associated with African elephants? Savanna, the vast grassland where large herds roam in search of food. Where would you most likely encounter a snow leopard? Mountains, the rugged high-altitude terrain where this elusive cat excels. Which habitat is home to the axolotl? Freshwater lakes, the aquatic environment where this unusual amphibian remains underwater. Where does the koala spend most of its life? Eucalyptus forest, supplying both shelter and the leaves it depends on. Which habitat is the natural environment of an anaconda? Wetlands, the swampy region where this giant snake hunts and hides. Where are wild orangutans primarily found today? Rainforest, the shrinking habitat they rely on for food and survival. Which habitat is home to the American bison? Prairie, the open grassland that once supported enormous roaming herds. Where does the narwhal naturally spend its life? Arctic, the cold northern waters where this tusked whale is found. Which habitat is preferred by flamingos for feeding? Coastal lagoons, shallow waters rich in the tiny organisms they feed upon. Where would you find a ring-tailed lemur in the wild? Madagascar, the island nation famous for its unique wildlife found nowhere else. Which habitat is home to the Komodo dragon? Dry islands, the rugged habitat where the world's largest lizard dominates. Where does the green sea turtle spend most of its life? Coastal waters, providing feeding grounds and migration routes throughout its life. Which habitat is most suitable for a meerkat colony? Semi-desert, the dry landscape where they dig burrows and stand watch. Where would you naturally find a capybara? Wetlands, the watery habitat where the world's largest rodent feels at home. Which habitat is home to the Arctic fox? Tundra, the cold treeless region where its thick fur provides protection. Which habitat is the primary home of a red kangaroo? Desert, the dry Australian landscape where it can travel vast distances. Which habitat is most commonly associated with the cheetah? Savanna, the open terrain that allows it to reach incredible speeds. Where would you most likely find a dugong? Seagrass meadows, underwater fields that provide nearly all of its diet. Which habitat is home to the poison dart frog? Tropical rainforest, the humid environment where its bright colors stand out. Where does the musk ox primarily live in nature? Arctic tundra, a frozen habitat where it survives brutal winters with ease. Which habitat is the natural home of the emperor scorpion? Tropical forest, the warm environment where this impressive arachnid thrives. The quiz is over, now let's check your results. If you scored from 0 to 10 points, don't worry. This quiz has surely helped you discover new and useful information. If you scored from 11 to 20 points, well done. You know animal habitats very well, including the environments where different species live. You're on the right track, and with a bit more practice, the top score will be within your reach. Keep refining your animal knowledge even more. If you scored from 21 to 30 points, you're a true animal enthusiast. You're ready for even harder challenges and expert-level quizzes. Keep exploring, sharing interesting facts, and impressing friends and family with your knowledge. Even true wildlife lovers would certainly be impressed. Thank you for taking part. We hope you had fun and learned something new. Keep challenging yourself with the next quiz.